there, it's me, Tori D, and today I'm going to be talking about my 2023 goals. I've already made a video about my 2023 financial goals, and I've also made a video about my 2022 craft wrap-up that included some 2023 craft-related goals. I'll also be having another video come out this week about my reading-specific goals and challenges, so keep an eye out for that one. My goals for 2023 have been split into 4 main focus areas: work, my PhD program, fitness, and my side hustle. For my work category, I have the least amount of concrete goals here, but it is a key component of my daily life. It's vitally important for my happiness and security to stay employed. I love my company, I love my coworkers, I love the work that I get to do, so I just want to keep on doing awesome things with awesome people throughout this recession and be able to be happy about the work that I am doing and contributing to my company. My actual concrete goal related to my work is to complete at least 2 FocusMate sessions each workday related to work tasks. So FocusMate is a body doubling platform that I absolutely love. Some days, meetings can really eat up my availability to do deep work and really engage in the work that I need to do, whereas other days I have so much free time that it becomes overwhelming to choose one thing to get done. So by using FocusMate to focus in on specific and concrete sessions in 25, 50, or 75-minute time blocks, I can always wind up getting more done than I expected. I have a couple goals related to my PhD program. The first is to pass my preliminary exam or comprehensive exam. Our department calls them prelims, which is kind of weird because it's preliminary to being a doctoral candidate, but other departments have preliminary exams within your first semester of coursework. So it's more comparable to a comprehensive exam with most departments. So this is going to be happening over Martin Luther King week in January. It's going to be a 1-week take-home exam that is absolutely shrouded in secrecy by our department. So I'll hopefully be getting those results back in February to determine if I've advanced onto doctoral candidacy. After I've advanced to doctoral candidacy, my next goal is to pass my prospectus defense. So my prospectus is the first 3 chapters of my dissertation where I introduce my readers to my study, talk about the literature that grounds my study, and talk about the methods that I'm going to be using to both conduct and analyze the research that I complete within my original research project that will comprise my dissertation. So I want to make sure that my prospectus is in good enough shape for an anticipated late July defense, so I can move into the actual research phase in the back half of the year. I also have 2 goals throughout the year. They're really the same goal, just different time amounts devoted to preparing for my preliminary exam, my prospectus, and eventually my dissertation work. So within the spring and summer, I hope to be working at least 7 hours a week on either my prospectus or my dissertation, kind of depending on where the timeline works out there. I just really want to make sure I'm carving out time each week as those 3 chapters are coming together. I already have a pretty rough draft of the first 3 chapters from a course I took in the fall of 2022, but I think 7 hours a week should be a good place to get that draft kind of defense ready. Then in the fall and winter, I want to ramp that up a little bit to be spending 10 hours a week on my dissertation work. So once I pass the prospectus defense, again manifesting that in the month of July for me, then it's on to the research and write-up to everything I'm doing in my original study. So that will include recruiting participants, interviewing participants, analyzing the data, triangulating the data, reporting on the data. So that's something that will eventually be done in 2024, complete, but 2023 is going to be the primary data collection for that, if all goes well. I definitely think that's going to be taking both time and energy comparatively to the proposal stage. So I just want to make sure I'm allocating time appropriately when I need to get that work done for the data collection. So related to my fitness goals, the first is to lose 50 pounds. I saw a picture of myself from my most recent marathon, and I A, didn't like the way that I looked, and B, didn't really like the way my finishing time came across. Again, I finished, but it was not in a time I was particularly excited about when it comes to the grand scheme of length of marathon running. I also want to be physically active for the rest of my life, and I know that extra weight isn't doing me any favors when it comes to making exercise as enjoyable as it could be or as long-lasting as it could be. So just really kind of dropping about a pound a week, if it really comes down to it, just to get myself in a better physical shape that I think will also kind of aid in some mental health things. My next fitness goal is to run 1,500 miles or more. That's about 125 miles a month. That gives me a solid goal, which also leads into my next goal, which is to run 3 marathons. So when you're doing marathon training for 3 marathons and a 50K, you're really going to be getting the mileage in. So I want to make sure I'm staying consistent in all of that. I have the Myrtle Beach Marathon in March, Flying Pig in Cincinnati and the Marshall University Marathon in West Virginia in November. I also have penciled in a local 50K that's going to be happening in June, just to make sure I'm keeping up my mileage during those warmer summer months. And I think that's kind of where those long distance races will stand. I really want to throw in some 5Ks and 10Ks and some shorter race distances for local causes that I care about or fun virtual medals that I see, but really kind of having those 4 races be the key component of my race calendar for the year. The Marshall University Marathon is my only fall race, and so I think that one is probably going to be my goal race for the year. The Myrtle Beach Marathon is going to be happening in March, in the middle of my training cycle for Flying Pig, so just kind of having that one in the back of my pocket. Because Myrtle Beach is a deferral from this past year in 2022, and Flying Pig is actually a deferral from 2020. I was supposed to run that race 3 years ago, and my deferral window has run out. So I'm excited to be doing both of those races in the spring. I also want to be walking 10,000 steps a day. I am a very scientific literature kind of person, and I know there is not a ton of supporting literature on the fairly arbitrary 10,000 step benchmark, but for me it's really making sure that I'm moving and active every day. I am very guilty of the days that I run, I walk a ton or I get a ton of steps, and the days that I don't, I maybe get 2,000 or 3,000 steps. The other problem is I work from home. It's really not a problem, it's really great, but it is a problem for my physical health. Even whenever I go into the office, I park on the opposite end of the parking lot from the front door in any of the buildings that I'm going into, and so I have to walk back and forth. But whenever my commute is from my bedroom to my living room or to my study, I really don't have a ton of steps that are happening. So that 10,000 steps a day marker can just give me something to shoot for to make sure I'm staying active. I am someone who has a treadmill desk. I have a treadmill that I built a desk onto that is a plank of wood with some bungee cords and some eye hooks that I made during the pandemic, but I get a ton of stuff done, and it's really actually good for doing some data entry and data analysis because it keeps me engaged and gives me something to keep doing. So really being able to stay active is something that's important to me. I also want to track my calories. I know for some people this can be triggering, but I have determined for myself that my weight loss goals and my healthy eating goals are most effective when I'm just keeping track of what's going into my body, where I'm able to kind of see my patterns. And I'm a data person. I love being able to see, oh, I had something salty yesterday and I have retained water and my weight has gone up. So really having data to be able to tie my decisions to my outcomes. I'm not obsessive. I'm pretty general. I kind of estimate a lot of times, but that's when I've been most successful in feeling good about myself and feeling good about my eating choices. This also encourages me to try more diverse foods. I am a very picky eater, and I have problems with getting enough fruits and vegetables, so whenever I'm tracking it and I can go back and see that I have not had an actual vegetable in like 3 days, it really gives me something to hold myself accountable. The final fitness related goal that I have is pretty generic, but it's to do stretches. So for me, this is a 2-prong approach. So I have plantar fasciitis, and it is something that has reared its head once in a while. Not as much recently because I've been very diligent about doing my prescribed stretches, doing some icing, really taking care of myself and my feet, because for me, again, running is a key component of both my physical health and my mental health, so I want to make sure that I can do that for the rest of my life. And so taking care of my plantar fascia as much as I can is critical, so I really want to make sure I'm doing at least the bare minimum of those stretches every day. In addition, I have no flexibility whatsoever. I cannot touch my toes. I don't always feel better when I do yoga. There are some types of yoga that my body just does not agree with as a non-flexible person. But there are some types of yoga that I get really good stretches and I feel really good and I'm really engaged with my breathing and my breath work and my thoughtfulness. So I really want to make sure that I'm doing that a couple times a week. My final area of my goals that I want to share in this video are related to this, my side hustle. Absolutely want to be publishing a video every Sunday. I would also like to occasionally post videos on Wednesdays, but really making sure that my Sunday videos are always going up, that they're my bread and butter, that I'm not missing any days there. There may be a couple days where things are kind of out of whack or they're not coming out in the mornings just because of some travel schedules and that sort of thing, or some editing schedules, but again, really staying consistent with those Sunday posts. The next goal related to my side hustle is to publish a blog post every Thursday. I really like having the opportunity to write. It's just another way to kind of express my thoughts. I like scripting, I like talking through stuff, but I do like expressing myself through the written word. So being able to explore a different medium and some different topical focus areas through a blog is something I also have enjoyed. I've blogged in the past. That website is down, but I have all of the previous posts. But just giving myself some space to do that and to share some things that may not necessarily translate well into video, just making sure that I can share those every week. My next part of my side hustle goals is to just focus in on my own input, since I can control that, and going in for about 10 hours a week on writing, filming, editing, scripting, publishing tasks related to everything around this kind of media piece. So editing my YouTube videos, scripting my YouTube videos, outlining my blog posts, gathering images and stills, gathering B-roll, anything I can do there to kind of advance those different platforms that I have. Again, I can't necessarily control the outcomes, but really focusing in on controlling my own inputs and the work that I am putting into the tasks. On the other side, one that is not entirely controllable by me, so it is more of an outcome-focused goal, is to finish the year meeting YouTube monetization requirements. So both the 1,000 subscriber count and the 4,000 watch hours count. Again, I'm kind of at the mercy of the algorithm. I'm kind of at the mercy of who is exposed and seeing these sorts of things. But that's kind of a nice goal that I would like to stretch and really encourage myself to get throughout 2023. Again, thinking through the kinds of videos that I'm posting and the things that I'm sharing, I definitely think that's achievable. It's just a matter of consistency. That's the thing I've seen more than anything else on YouTube videos, is talking about the consistency that you can have in building a backlog for your channel. So just making sure that I'm doing that and sharing those sorts of things with everyone. That was a big list, but those are my goals for 2023. It's shaping up to be a great year, and I'm really excited to see where I'm going to be 12 months from now. So I'd love to hear what you're planning for 2023, so feel free to share your ideas and your goals in the comments below, and I'll be sure to cheer you on. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.